You are live. All right, we're back again. Forgot about my technical setup, but if you are watching, hopefully my background this week, is the right way around because it's back to front for me, which means that it should be projecting correctly if you're viewing at the other end. CrossFit Open starts tomorrow, 26.1. So the year is 2026. The week is 1, so 26.1. I'm just going to play this video because why not? Let me share my screen. We'll see if anyone would like to join me while this video is playing.
Hey you, it's time for your yearly check-in. The CrossFit Open is here. Fitter than last year? Good, prove it. Fitter than your rival in the 5 p.m. class? Good, prove it. Fitter than all those gym bros down the street? Good, prove it. The workouts are the test. The gym floor is the stage. The leaderboard is the spotlight. Proving season is here. Are you ready?
All right. There it is. Does that pump you up? Starts tomorrow. The workout is announced live at 7 a.m. our time tomorrow morning. So that is when you should set your alarm for, essentially. I believe that they'll announce the workout and then they'll go into how they normally do it, a little bit of warm-up time, and then the athletes will go. Don't forget, you can still register all the way up till Tuesday when score submission closes. So if you're undecided, there's still time to get on. Now, I've lost games.crossfit.com. That's where you can go to sign up for the Open. There was something on here I wanted to show you all, and I've lost track of who the athletes are. Let me reshare that screen. Try again. That to stage. All right. So tomorrow, Jason Hopper, Dallin Pepper, Colton Mertens, and Austin Hatfield will go head-to-head for the Open announcement 26.1. I believe they're doing it on a air base, potentially. So it'll be live from a military base or an air base or something like that over in America, which is why they're all dressed up the way they are, like they're out of Top Gun. You can find on YouTube when it will be. You can click notify me, and you'll get a notification in email and potentially a phone notification too as to when it goes live. But it says live in 17 hours, which is February 27th at 7 a.m. for us. So YouTube is your way to stay on top of that if you're not sure how else to find the workout when it's announced live tomorrow. Now, 26.1 predictions. I hate predictions because who knows, really, honestly. Justin's here, lucky camera straps. If it's another dumbbell and burpee workout in week 1, I'll be sad. I probably will be too. While I can do burpees, if it's a heavy dumbbell, and by heavy, 15 kilos, that's probably going to be not very suitable for my left hand. So it'll probably be a scaled workout. And there's nothing wrong with doing a scaled workout. It'll be probably more exciting if the workout is that accessible week 1 that maybe I can actually do it. So I guess my prediction, wouldn't even call it a prediction. I would say my hope is that there's no high skill gymnastics or no front racking or overhead barbell stuff for week 1. That would be what I'd like to see. The camera life, which is also Justin. So thanks for viewing ×2 for me, Juzzy. The Iron Hog is going to crush them. So Colton Mertens, also known as the Iron Hog. Justin thinks we'll crush all of Jason, Dallin, and Austin. So it'll be interesting to see, because at the end of the day, it very much could come down to the type of workout that is programmed for the first week of the Open in 2026. I'm hoping rowing, burpees, and a barbell. Look, I heard someone throw around, it would be cool That's what they said. I agree, probably, because we've done it before. There was a workout we did once. It was called Beat Bajent. It was an Andrew Hiller workout, 100 cals on the rower into 100 burpees over the rower. I'd probably be excited for that as a workout because I couldn't do both of those movements. So that would be pretty cool for me. If they threw a barbell in there as well, again, depending on what it is. If it was deadlifts, I wouldn't have an issue with it. If it was cleans, I could get away with it. If it's anything that requires the overhead movement too, probably not that exciting. CrossFit Open 26.1 is. Matt's in the chat too. Hey, Matt, I'm hoping it's not legs as we have... There's a cash prize for the 21K fun run. How much, Matt? I didn't realize that. So Bendigo is having their fun run this Sunday. So week 1 of the Open is also Bendigo fun run here in Bendigo. And there's a number of members participating in that too. So Matt's obviously got some money on himself to do well in the 20K, 21, the half marathon for the fun run on Sunday. Matt, what time are you planning on finishing that in? What's the goal? What's the expectation there? And yeah, what's the cash prize if you do know? Juzzy also here. Dave's clue was a wood carving of a bison's eye. So I was going to share that. For anyone that doesn't know, Dave Castro has dropped a hint onto Instagram for the last I don't know how many years. Those hints, honestly, to me mean nothing. People have a lot of fun guessing what they could mean. I think it might have gotten to a point where people really do start to take the piss out of the hints in terms of what they think they'll be. So it's what's extra interesting, and who knows. And again, this is all this has all become speculation for it. There's actually been 2 videos that Dave's put up in terms of 26.1, what does he call them? Like hints. Let me share this screen. Matt. Workers put up $400 for the 21K. Sub an hour 50 is the target. Right, so not the whole fun run, but actually Wild Plumbing. Have they put up $400 for only people from Wilds participating? And do you have any competition, Matt? Is there anyone else at Wilds who's a keen runner that can also go sub 2 hours for that half marathon? That'd be interesting to know. Juzzy in his other form, lucky camera straps. You got this, Matt. Yeah, Matt, let us know. Sub 1 hour and 50 is awesome. Jessie says, I think she'll be able to beat Cole, Timmy, and Chappie. I'd be curious to know, have any of them signed up? Because it's an easy win if they haven't signed up. Maybe they're in a different category. Now, where was I? Back to showing these videos. Not that one. Share this tab instead. All right, so bison head. Clue number 1. There's no audio with this. So it just fans across the bison's face, across the eye there. And then, as mentioned, people start to take, I guess, the piss out of some of these things. Statue of a bull, how intriguing. Unless you know that, I'm not even going to bother reading that. Long story short, I don't really get into these very much because none of them ever seem to make much sense. What I thought was interesting was there was a second hint put up today. So it's playing on the screen right now. What looks to be, well, it is AI created. It looks to be a pyramid or a temple, a lot of rocks falling, and then the pyramid or the temple exploding. So take with that what you will. In fact, as the video starts playing, the temple doesn't exist there. So rocks fall from the sky and then the temple builds from the bottom up. If you're considering it a pyramid and you want to take those guesses, then, you know, take with that what you will. One of the comments itself says pyramid, 1 to 10 burpees and deadlifts. That would be almost a repeat of a previous year. One year it was 1 to 10 to 1 of burpees and deadlifts, so something similar to that. Again, when it comes to what workout would I like to see in week 1, I wouldn't be mad about that either. I can do both of those movements. So if I could do one RX workout across the 3 weeks of the Open this year, like that would be great for me. I would be excited by that. If the other two are scaled or the foundations division, or I have to jump across to the adaptive athlete division and do the workouts that are written for those with upper extremity adaptive their workouts, then it is what it is. And that's probably a good point for other people, anyone that's listening or anyone that's wondering about the open, or they're injured. There's always a version of a workout you can do. And I guess in particular when you're going when you're looking at the adaptive workouts, it can be really interesting to push yourself head to head with them. Obviously, for some people, they may not have done particular movements the way the adaptive athletes have done them, but you'll find that those adaptive athletes are so good at how the movements that they do in place of whatever it might be, bar muscle up or something like that. Their fitness is extreme, even compared to someone who's got almost full ability of their body through that range of motion or working form. Stop that one. What did I come on here to do? CrossFit Open 26.1 is, I have no idea. I would like it to be something that I can do, but at the same time, it is what it is, because I'll consider myself lucky if one of the 3 workouts is something that I could do RX, and outside of that, all scaled from there. Now, the other thing I came on here to talk about today, just without much preparation, I guess you could say, it's nice to see the comments are working. A lot of the StreamYard YouTube stuff this morning seems to be having glitches and issues with viewing comments online or even seeing other people's comments. So the fact that I've been able to pull them all up, it's cool. All right. I didn't prepare for a question today. In fact, rather, I just came on because I thought it was really interesting. I wanted to talk about the fact that this morning at the gym, to set a little bit of context for anyone that doesn't come to Dauntless and doesn't know what we did on Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon, if you're listening to this back, we had an EMOM workout where one of the minutes required you to run a distance, and the prescribed distance was 200 meters. And quite often when that happens at the gym, there's a marker out for 150 meters as a scaled distance. Now today I put the 150 meter marker cone out at that mark, and I put a cone out at the 200 meter mark, and I put a cone in the middle of both of them. Now, that wasn't a specified distance. It was just providing an option for people who thought 200 meters is a little bit too far for me to complete in that 60-second window, but 150 meters is sometimes on the easier side for people. And so I wanted to give them another reference point to go to. And maybe it was a little bit of a psychological experiment, because I thought, well, I'll just put that out there and they can go a little further than they would have, but still not have the pressure of completing the 200 meters in that 60-second window if they didn't feel like they had it in them today, or if they were keeping the intensity lower with the open workout coming up tomorrow, especially as we don't know what any of the movements will be. The fun thing that happened this morning is, as we did our test round to make sure that we could do the distance we had decided on in that 60-second window, I encouraged a number of people who would normally just go from 200 straight down to 150 to go to that smaller cone in the middle, that in-between marker, just as a way to get them to just work a little bit harder than they might without overdoing it today. And the interesting thing that came from that was that from that point, after that little tester, there were a couple of comments after the first round when I said, all right, did you go to that in-between cone? And most people, maybe all but one person this morning, said, actually, I went to the 200 instead. So the fact that there was this little in-between marker that really, didn't mean anything in the end other than, hey, I'd like you to go a little further than you think you want to go today. When they got to that cone, they realized how close that next marker was, that 200 meter cone. They went the whole way. So in a workout where they were going to cut themselves short, lighten off the distance, lighten off the intensity by only going 150 meters, by default, they had convinced themselves, well, I might as well go the whole way. So it's just a really interesting little psychological experiment that I played on people this morning just to see what happened. I wasn't going to force anyone to run 200 meters if they didn't want to, but it was just very interesting to see how many people were like, all right, I'll do the in-between cone. And then when they got out there, they're like, I'm so close to the 200 now that I'll just keep going and I'll do the full 200. And they all finished it in under that 60-second window. So when we're talking about what is the intensity of the workout or working to relative intensity, those people that would normally choose that 150 meter marker because they're like, I don't want to run the 200 today, but the 150 meters. But the 150 meters is the other option. So that's where I'll go to. It was interesting to see those people go from what would have been an overscaled workout to actually achieving relative intensity in that workout by achieving that 200 meter run within that 60-second window. So I guess I gave myself a pat on the back probably because it was like I got more out of these athletes this morning than they probably thought they were going to give today without making them feel like they had to do the 200. They made that choice themselves purely based off the fact that when they got to that in-between cone, they were like, I'm so close to that 200, I'm just going to keep going. And then they did it and they maintained it. Everyone gets a big pat on the back for that. And now they feel a little bit more like they've achieved something for their morning today. So that was fun. What else was I going to bring up today? There was something else on my mind. And maybe it's gone. No, guys. I've got these couple of not screenshots. What are they called? You know what? I'm going to call it there today because I think we're going to come on tomorrow and I just, without talking for too long about something I haven't put a lot of thought into, I might save it for a new week and a new thought process and just save my talking live online time for after the open announcement tomorrow. Probably jump on and just discuss what I saw in the scorecard, what things might be important to note for those doing the open, what to pay attention to if you're judging someone, what to pay attention to if you're completing the workout, and maybe some really simple tips and tricks, or even just probably not even tips and tricks, reminders probably more than anything about how to not go out hot based off how long the workout might be. So I'll save these other topics of discussion for after the open. And now after this week, after we get through the week one of the open. What time roughly tomorrow? Good question. If the open announcement happens at 7, and then let's say the boys get 10 minutes to warm up, they're not going till, let's say, 7:15 by that point. If it's a 20-minute workout, I wouldn't be on any earlier than probably 7:45. So maybe around that 8 o'clock window, really short one at 8 o'clock. Well, I say short, who knows what will happen. No more than half an hour probably. So let's say 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for no more than 30 minutes. Might go live and chat about what I've seen from the scorecard, from the movement standards, from the open announcement workout itself, and what I might recommend for people who are doing it at the 9:30 class tomorrow at Dauntless. And then I'll have some more learnings after that for those going in the afternoon heats for Friday Night Lights. Matt, there's 7. So 7 from Wilds and the 21K from work. A few will have me covered, but I've been getting in their head, planning on them going out too hot. Interesting. So Matt's learnt over the last, how long has it been, Matt? You've been at CrossFit 3 years now? Over the last 3 years, now that Matt doesn't go out too hot and he's learned how to pace himself because he understands himself better, he now understands how to get in other people's heads and convince them to run harder, or whatever it might be, work harder at the start of a workout, but run harder at the start of this 21K in the hope that they blow up prior to the finish line, which might get Matt over the line ahead of them. Sounds like there's a few runners at work though, Matt. Maybe they can come in and do some strength training at CrossFit one day too. $400 on the line, hey? Is there prizes for the 5 and 10K? Is anyone from work doing that as well? Or is it only that half marathon? 7 is a good number of work people to have signed up in the half marathon. That's pretty exciting for Wilds. Justin says, that was the only way I used to be able to beat Matt when he started. So there's a word missing there, but yes, once upon a time when Matt was fresh and baby-faced to CrossFit, he would go out too hot, he would fall apart, he would rest for too long, and Juzzy would come cruising in and pass him at the end. Not as much anymore, but it does go to show that the earlier on in your CrossFit journey you are, the harder it is to understand your own capacity, or the less you know about your capacity early on. And for Justin, he's been doing it for quite some time, so he does understand his capacity. For Matt, he was still new. And it is, when you haven't done workouts with mixed modality movements in them, you can be surprised by what you think the pace you might be able to run at or burpee at or row at can affect the other movements coming up if you're not used to what the feeling of the combination of movements feels like. So big thing, once upon a time in CrossFit, everyone just used to go out hot, and it used to be a case of, hey, who can do this for the longest and who can hang on? And now, because it's 15 years of competition, but 25 years of programming online, people are much more aware of pacing for movements, how movements affect other movements, where their fitness is at as to how those movements can affect each other as well, or how they need to attack or pull back on certain movements to allow them to not fail other things. Quite often than not, it's anything that gets that heart rate high, then into a high skill, so gymnastics, or high skill, maybe heavy loaded weightlifting movement, where it's easier to fail when the heart rate is higher due to the inability to, I guess, perform or control that in that moment. Well, with that, please feel free. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to do. One moment, please. We will be on. I'll be on tomorrow. Maybe Justin will come on the other screen somewhere for me, so I've got someone to talk to. Maybe he'll sit right beside me. I don't know. But we will be on. I will be on tomorrow morning around 8 o'clock, just as a quick, brief before the brief for the open workout. I'm just finding my YouTube channel because a couple of weeks ago, I had some issues with audio. Oh, it's so hard to find what I'm looking for in here. YouTube Studio. Comments. Where is sort by newest? Apply. Here we go. So I had a couple of weeks ago, I did a live, maybe it was not last week, the week before, and I had some issues with the audio, lessons learned from that, I guess. And in that one, I was reading out, and Pete prompted me again today. So Pete's popped a comment. How do I share this screen? On one of my videos, which I appreciate when people listen after the fact and they give it a like, they give it a comment, they give it a whatever, like, subscribe, comment, whatever it might be. Had to stage. So I had read out Pete's comment on that one, but the audio was so bad that it probably got missed. It was in reference to why to sign up for the open. Sorry I missed this yesterday, which was 2 weeks ago now. Lots of good discussions and coverage on the comments. Love the open topic and answers about younger you starting out. It'd be cool, Pete, if you listen to this too, is there anything that you think in regards to, what would you tell your younger self when you were starting out? Anything that you might think would be important to know back then. And then the thing that reminded me of that, the fact that had happened with that audio a fortnight ago, was Pete commented again. So thanks again for adding a note or a comment onto the video after the fact. It does give me nice little thumbs up in regards to people are listening to this, and if you do get something out of it, it's nice to hear it. Nice one. So this one was in regards to what society does to ideals. So that's the one I did, strong versus skinny, in regards to which way does my mind sit, in the strong environment or the skinny environment. And I went on there and I kind of just said it's more about are you capable or not capable? And that's kind of how I look at it, because strong is relative to each individual. Someone who is strong relative to themselves, let's say a 75-year-old person, while they are strong relative to themselves, they might not consider themselves strong relative to other people. So Pete popped a comment on here too. Nice one, Yelena. Some good insights to help those listening and rewatching later. And again, I would just ask the question, Pete, if you're listening after the fact of this, giving an example of what you liked helps me understand what it is that I might have said, or what it is that you might have heard that you found really good and insightful and enjoyed listening to. And if it was the whole thing, great. But if there is something in particular that anyone's listening to and they want to re-quote that, or just, say the bit, for as a poor example, you could say the bit where you, off there, get on there. You could say, I've never really thought about strong versus skinny as being capable or not capable. I really like that perspective. Da 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 da. Anyway, long story short, I was thinking about that episode last week. I was thinking about that episode this week from last week, driving out to Strathfield, say, one day, and my mind was thinking about the fact that I guess if I had to pick one, I would lean on the side of strong. So if you ask me which side of the scale I'm on, I would lean more on the side of, I think it's more important to be strong than it is to be skinny, but that is my own personal opinion. And if you want to go back and listen to the other things that I think about that in terms of what society does to ideals, feel free to go and have a listen. So that was last Thursday's episode, strong versus skinny. Outside of that, if you are listening or were listening, give this give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, comment below what you would like to see in Open Workout 26.1. Doesn't have to be the format of the workout, could just be the movements you'd like to see, or even movements that you don't want to see in week 1. And I'll see you all back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. if you can join me. And if the live stream for the Open is still going at 8 a.m, I won't be on straight away. I'll wait until it's over. And just to finish up, what time is Juzzy's Open Workout Tips being released tomorrow? He does like to take a bit of time across the afternoon to sort of take in other people's information and then establish his idea of what's suitable for the members at Dauntless, more so because quite a lot of the strategies will come out and it's more for the elite, say top 5% of things. We're looking for strategies that are useful for the regular gym goer who is just your average fitnesser. So tomorrow morning at 8 a.m, Juzzy might have some tips, but later on tomorrow afternoon, Juzzy will probably have some more tips available for people. Nikita, no worries. You're not too late. You can always listen back. It's nice that you popped a comment in here, though. It's cool to pull up some new names onto the screen when they're there. Nice logo too, Nikita. It's very formal of you, as opposed to M for Matt. No offense, Matt. And, of course, Justin's got his business logos on there too. Dave's clue was a wood carving of a bison's eye. I didn't read that. Was it a wood carving? What does that even mean? Nobody knows. Nikita. Anyway, join me tomorrow, 8 o'clock. I'll talk about it a bit more. I'll stop wasting your time now and I will get off because somehow it's still 30 minutes in. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.